Alright, well, as you can see, I jumped the gun a little bit, and I've managed to get the front panel off, which has revealed numerous dust bunnies, among other interesting things. But on that note, here's the front, and you can see it is, as I suspected, relatively modular. So that front panel is its own piece. So is this one. You can take it out. There's also this one here, which is sort of popping out, but I'm not going to force it. Sort of wonder what might have gone there. And then these down here, which makes me wonder if maybe some versions of these chassis had like RAID arrays down here, hot swap bays. But anyways, so today I want to put the floppy drive in, among other things. There's other components, but I'm most excited for the floppy drive since naturally we've all seen and likely installed, network cards and graphics cards. That's what else I'm putting in here today. But I don't know that many of us have installed a floppy drive into such a modern computer. I know I sure haven't. So now I just need to find where last... Oh, it's inside! I forgot I left it in there. But here it is. Now, rather interestingly, it has compact flash, smart media, and SD and MMC card readers along with it. I'd mentioned in the last video how floppy drives are pretty closely tied to the ISA bus, which naturally this doesn't have any exposed ports for. There's likely some internal ones, like when I was snooping around with the COM ports, I noticed it was mentioned something about an ISA bridge over PCI. So I'd be curious to see if that was something potentially that could be exposed, but ultimately this is supposed to be my reliable computer. I don't want to tinker with it too much, but the solution to that, as you may have noticed, is just this little rather flimsy adapter board from Amazon. Somewhat interestingly, this drive does not have all the pins. I don't know how well you can see that, but a number of them are missing. You can see all these are just spaces where pins would be. And I actually bought a floppy drive connector, just the plain header, 90 degrees like that, in case I had to replace that. But I've tested this actually just externally and it's worked fine, so I'm just gonna assume that's them cutting costs in a very late model product. This I pulled out of a computer that I approximate to be like 2009, 2010 or so. It was a late model Core 2 system. Yeah, let's get into it. So this front cover where the floppy, I guess, blanking plate looks like even maybe a USB port bracket is actually slotted in from the top, so I'm gonna have to pull out the little hot swap bay I've installed. I'm actually just gonna see if I can get away with pushing it back a little, because unplugging it is a little bit of a pain, and it looks like I will. There it goes. Wow, with a bang. Now, where did the screw that fell inside here go? Oh, there it is. And then pull the cables through. Oh, this has screws on it. Okay. Well, that's no problem to take them off. There we go. And it looks like I'll probably have to take the other side panel off, but I've broken it loose. And then, where did I? Oh, right, the rate erase just pushed in a little bit. So I'll just pull that forward. It's a little bit caught there, but that's okay. I'll save putting the front panel back on for when it's more complete, because I don't want to have to risk taking it back off, but that looks all right. Now we'll work our way around back to consider how I'm going to route the cables. So we have both this USB Type A. You could just get a, they have little internal headers that go from, it's just a little stub, a little dongle that goes from the Type A, not even Type A, but just the internal header to Type A. And in fact, many like server motherboards or workstation boards will have internal Type A connectors, but unfortunately this one does not. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knock out this little serial port connector and thread this through. I hope it reaches. Let me get a flathead for that. That's not gonna work. Can I just... Yeah, that'll do fine. And then just plug it into our little Type A connector in the back. Not the most elegant solution, but it works. Maybe one day I'll custom build one of those adapters I was talking about, but it's not something that I particularly feel the need to do. And then, interestingly, the card reader portion of it has just a 1x4 USB internal connection. So it isn't keyed. And I'm just going to line it up as in accordance with the other little USB, I guess, breakout panel that I have installed. That is Italy or Hungary, depending on which way you want to look at it, and then black. It's a little tight for my liking, so I'll just bring it back a little bit. It seems to protrude a bit anyway. Now we got to see if I can manage to open this other side panel again. Looks like maybe not. and get the, what is it? My framework screwdriver, which has a little spudger on the end. Oh, that's right, I don't have front panel on, so I can just... There it goes. That is a lot easier. Come on, come on. There it goes. Alright, and then, is there space to actually install a screw for this? No. That's like my biggest gripe with this case. It has some provisions for installing drives without the sleds, such as the screw holes on the other side, but then it doesn't give you the other screws on this side to sort of get the job done. Well, that's disappointing. Where will I put this screw then? Up on the ground, apparently. Maybe it can just live here. Nice. Now for the boring part, got a few cards to install. First is, I forget if this is a 5 or 2.5 gig. Wait, no, it's 10 gig. Wow, I really splurged on this. It's a 10 gig card. Nick. 10 gig card. Who knows, maybe it's a GPU with 10 gigabytes of VRAM. But, now it seems I've made a little bit of an error here. This is I believe that's 4X, unless it's maybe a PCI Express 8X slot, but I only have a 1X slot left. Though, I think that's fine, honestly, because I don't even have a 10 gig network to plug this into. It was just cheap, and I needed something to ask for my birthday. So, yeah, I'll just pull out the little blank bracket that's there currently. You can't even see that. I apologize. But luckily, I don't know if I mentioned this, but luckily the 1X slots are actually cut out in the back, so I can still slot a longer card in. It just won't have the full bandwidth. I'm actually going to try taking this RAID card out first. Alright, back at it again. Yeah, it's strange, it just doesn't want to go in all the way. Maybe this USB bracket's like too high up or something? Yeah, I've pulled it all the way down. Oh, I think it might be hitting on the screw here. Yeah, it looks like. There we go. That is a lot more satisfying. Guess that sort of means we have to install them from the bottom up then. Oh, well, shucks, I did that wrong. We'll see if this still goes in. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's alright. Now, you've heard me mention a graphics card a few times now throughout the video, I suppose. So, now you get to find out what it actually is. Ta-da! Ta-da! There you go. An RX 6600, which is vastly overpowered for this machine. But ultimately, this isn't so much meant to be paired with the little low-end Xeon E5. I want to say it's 1225 that's in there. That's in factual edit in a correction. Oh boy, that's a big card. Well, it's not actually all that big of a card, it's just a big cooler. Look, that's like almost a like a mini variant, it feels like. But, you know, it's got all this cooler hanging off it. Like, back when I was first getting into computers, what, 7 years ago now, I think. Like, that would have been a small card, and then all of this would have also been PCB. It's sort of interesting how we've seen that change since I believe the 20 series was the first to do that, unless it was 30 series. But now we're all the way up to the 50 series. Yeah. Now I need to figure out where all this plastic starts. Of course, I don't have my my grabbing fingernail available anymore. Maybe I can use my left hand. Yeah. Oh, it wraps around. Oh, that's devilish. Man, it feels like they just slapped some packing tape on this. Ripped. Oh, that's awful. It's way too sticky. I'm not even trying anymore. Oh, that is awful. Look, all of the tape, I'm not even calling that protective wrap, goes like up behind the PCI bracket. Oh, that's terrible. It's left the card all sticky. I wonder if the heat's done something. Maybe ASRock is not all to blame because I've sort of come to expect better of them. We've had a few very hot days since I've acquired this, and this is my first time opening it. So maybe that caused something to happen, but, you know. ultimately all I want in packaging is, well, the framework laptop is really the perfect example of packaging for me. It's a plain brown recycled cardboard box with the product in it, frankly. Like this. All of these graphics, they do nothing for me. This helps me in no way. Like, I get, even a few years ago, like, I've been able to go to a computer store, Fry's Electronics, back when it was still open, and go and ogle all the new components in their shiny boxes, but, that's just not nearly a thing. That's just not nearly as much a thing today. Let's see, lift all this up. That'll fit fine. Let's see. Just gotta finesse that in. I'll remove the screw for the RAID card. I think that should help a little bit. I had to remove my little stand and lay the computer down to do that last part, but you can see it's all nicely installed now, and I've joined the club of extremely cool people who have all of their expansion cards filled. So, now all that's left is reinstalling the front. Though we gotta reassemble it slightly first. So, let's see. How's this gonna work? This little panel here we'll have to screw in like that. Yep, get the first screw started. Is that too big? Yeah, I think so. I'll use my framework screwdriver. Oh no, I've forgotten something. This actually has this big old grounding strap on it. I'll just install like that. Yeah, that seems good. There we go. That all works nicely still. That'll look very nice too. All that's left is to find the one remaining screw I lost. Shucks. There it is. Okay. So now I just have to tell you what, I'll plug this cable in. Okay, well that's real handy. Yeah, so can't see it all that well, but the connector here is keyed. There's one pin missing right there. But the plug isn't. Tell you what I'll do. I'll just plug it in both ways and see what works. And yeah, that looks like it does well enough for me. that little grounding cable just wants to put itself. Tell you what, I think I'm gonna. It was originally mounted here, but I think I'm gonna move it to one of the other screw holes because they're all grounded. It shouldn't make a difference. You can see there's no traces coming off it aside from the grounding plane, so it's not like they're using it as a signal. Wonder what that is. Oh, just a little bracket to keep the internal USB headers in place. You can even see it's got artifacts of where firewire ports would go, but ultimately never did. Alright, so just slide that back in there. And then yeah, it looks like it's catching on that. And just fold that down. That'll do fine. Yeah, that looks good. That looks very good, in fact. Look at that, it's got a floppy drive. And every card reader under the sun. Oh, big computer. Yeah, that's connected.